send or to get all of my live streams going properly. If you guys can just bear with me for a couple of moments here. I should have my act together any minute, and I should be able to see the streams. We're almost there, guys. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I hope you all took a little bit of a break from politics whenever you have a chance. Just waiting for my live to come up here on Substack so I can see it. Then I'll initiate the YouTube live, and the Instagram live is sort of half going right now. And my friend, Crowdsource Carrie, may be joining us in a moment or two. Come on, Xenocracy. Let's get this live going. Let's see if there's any problems with it. It looks good. Yeah, we're streaming everywhere, so it should be fine. I don't know why I'm not seeing it yet, but let me keep doing this. There we go. Okay, let me bounce into that live. So it should be fine. I'll turn the sound off. Okay, so I can see that live. Let's go live with Instagram. Okay, and it looks like we are live on Instagram. And last but not least, we're going to bring TikTok into the fold. It's been a while since I went live with TikTok, so why not? And let's get TikTok in here. And TikTok is just about here. Hang on. Okay, so I think we're live on TikTok now too. So I think I got it. I think I've got everybody here. Let's just take a. Hey, Jules. Hey, Ann. How are you guys? I'm sorry I'm late today. I'm kind of trying to catch up to myself today. I had a doctor's appointment that I had to take my dad to this morning that ran significantly later than I had hoped it was going to run, and we just had a daily briefing. Which is some of what I want to speak with you guys about. And my friend Carrie may be joining us as well. I'm just waiting for her to dial in to actually, let me make sure my interviews are on. So if Carrie can make it today, we don't miss her. And I think we're good. So I hope you guys are well. Hey, Catherine, how are you? How's everything going? He's on? Who's on, Catherine? I'm not sure what you're... oh, he's on. I'm on. I'm thinking that's what you're referring to. So I hope everybody's doing good. I hope you had a good weekend. Welcome, TikTok. It's been a while since I've had you here. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start with the war. And as soon as Carrie... if Carrie's able to join us, as soon as she gets here, we'll just kind of bring her into the conversation, and we'll just start kind of chopping it up from there. But... Iran over the weekend. Oh, Trump's on. Oh, is he on? Let's I don't know why I'm going to do this to you guys, but if the Village Idiot is on, maybe we'll stream it. Hang on, guys. Don't go away. Let me just hop onto C-SPAN. I mean, I'm sure the news conference isn't really saying much of anything that we don't already know, but why not? Oh, here he is. The Village Idiot is speaking. Let me just make sure I have my system. Make sure my my scene is set up properly. Bear with me, guys. I didn't realize he was on, or I would have actually had this prepped for you guys. All right, screen sound capture is on. So let me start playing the idiot, and let's hear we can hear what he has to say in real time. That's always fun.
McGovern Volvo Cars Albany, where at McGovern Volvo Cars Albany, buying and servicing your...
The crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
But in the United
Then we
States
shouldn't have this
military,
idiot making it.
we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it.
Got a lot of bullets. There's
We just
lots
realized
of
how
bullets
good
in there.
those-
I couldn't tell you what type of
those
helicopter it
weapons
is
are.
because I don't
Those
really
are-
know.
are
But it's got a
machines
lot of
are-
bullets.
Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close.
Nobody even has the
The most
president that we
powerful
have.
military
God forbid.
anywhere in the world by far. The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire
Tell us,
at
Donald.
very close range. It's amazing that
Tell us about the fabulous
when you
machine,
look
Donald.
at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapon
If you're just joining us, guys, I wasn't planning to cover the idiot, but Catherine had mentioned that he's speaking, so I thought, why not? What the hell? And believe me, anything that I'm muting, I promise you're not missing anything. But let's continue. I will interrupt him because why not?
teaming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many
Now, Donald's having a hard time reading. He's been reading for a couple of minutes, so we can't expect much from him. Donald, continue.
within side of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as
Now, Donald is making this up. He doesn't know that they want to go as far away from the site as they do from the shoot down. He's riffing, but then now let's go back. He's reading now.
cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper type apparatus that is on them at all times.
I think he probably made that up too.
They make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life.
Fantastic.
We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout. And he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's amazing.
Fantastic. I can't believe how
was
amazing it
listening
is.
to, these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing.
General Raisin Kane is his first name is not Raisin, by the way. TikTok, if you're just joining us, by the way, the reason this looks so weird is that I'm off to the side here. Is I didn't set up my scene today to stream the Village Idiot, but Catherine had let me know that he was on here, so I figured I would bring him to you. So when we go back to the full scene without the imbecile, you'll see not more than just half of me, if you want to.
So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind.
We lost 6 planes. 6 planes, and he's probably lying about the count. Hang on. Shut up, Donald.
For
hang on. Let me
almost
shut him up for a
48
second.
hours. That's a long time.
We lost. I think we lost. We don't know for sure because they're consistently lying to us. But I think we've lost. I think we lost 6 planes, and we don't know about the casualties yet. I mean, we know what they tell us, but they lie.
When you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding, it's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable.
Fantastic,
Lighter,
unbelievable. There's
faster
never been
aircraft
anything
came
like
in,
it.
And they took them out. We blew up the old planes, and we blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used, and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably
Very
well.
strongly used.
And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe it. It's crazy. I never saw anything like it.
The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle, and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but
Oh, now it's a farm.
it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle?
Sorry, guys. Oh, I just lost them there. You know what? It's enough anyway. I'm going to be honest with you. If Donald is speaking, Donald is lying. I mean, if you guys want to listen to the rest of the press conference, I'll put it. We can go back to it. But I just felt like I couldn't hear it anymore. But just put it. If you do want to listen to the rest of the presser, just just pop it in. Let me just check the comments. Pop it in the comments, and I will I'll go back to it. I just, I'm always up for a press conference with the idiot. I'm always, you know, um, happy to make fun of him, and insult him. And thank you, Gail. But but to just listen to him make up shit and riff for 10 minutes so far, and this is probably going to go on for a half an hour, 40 minutes about um the same bullshit. We're not getting any real information about. We have no details other than coming from this idiot and idiots in the White House. We don't have any details whatsoever about the pilot who went down. So, you know, I I I I just don't want to hear it. So, let me just sort of bounce back to. But so far, I'm seeing in. Let me just check TikTok and see what they're saying there. But so far, it looks like um, within the Substack space, nobody's all that interested in listening to the village idiot Donald Trump. So so I think we'll. Jules, I'd rather punch myself in the face. Okay, let me just. You know what, guys? While we're kind of I don't want to bring that up because I don't want you guys to. let me just fix my stream here because it's a little bit of a mess, and I gotta just email my friend Carrie and make sure she. Oh, that's not what I want to show you guys. Oh my god, I got allergies. I've got post nasal drip. I've got technical problems. All kinds of shit going on right now as I'm trying to get myself together with this live stream. Okay, I've got this here. TikTok, let me straighten you out because TikTok is kind of a complete mess over here. Let me just do this. Hang on. Let's just go to the main shot. All right. Now, let me reach out to my friend Carrie and see if make sure I send her a link just in case. Just in case she is trying to get in because she just texted me or emailed me a couple of moments ago. And then we will get to the news of the day that doesn't involve the village idiot Donald Trump, and we can go from there. Thank you for your patience, guys. This has been a thoroughly dysfunctional live so far, but I don't know. You wouldn't have it any other way. By the way, TikTok folks, hang on. TikTok folks, I am going to do something next week, and you guys might like it. Everybody might like it. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I am going to go and attempt. I just got a training on debating, and debating MAGA folks, and I have been hesitant to get involved in this space because it takes a lot of preparation, and really, do you really get anywhere anyway? Do you really is it really worth it to do it? You're not going to change anyone's mind. But at the same time, I'm open to stepping outside of my comfort zone and trying anything I can to expand my community, to build the community, to certainly expand Xenocracy space on Substack. So, I think I'm going to do something on TikTok where and it's going to have to sort of be a TikTok only thing because I guess I could live stream, multi-stream it. I don't know how it's going to work though, because I don't know if I can go I know I can go from TikTok to, from my streaming platform into TikTok, but I'm not sure if I can go from TikTok into my streaming platform. But I'm going to try to do some of this where I open up the community for debate where we open it up, and if MAGA folks want to come on, we'll pick a particular topic and we'll debate and discuss that topic and argue about it. And I'm going to try it, Catherine. I feel like it's a horrible idea, but just I'm going to be completely transparent. There is a certain clickbaitiness to arguing with people online. There is certainly a clickbaitiness to argue with MAGA influencers online. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, I have little shame, so I'm not really worried about getting humiliated or embarrassed by someone from the MAGA community who out debates me, but I am ready to, sell out and do anything I can to build out our community. So in essence, if it takes, that, I'm going to do it. So in order to, and again, we'll see how it goes. If it winds up being a fiasco and a bit of a disaster, we'll, I don't ever have to do it again. But or if nobody, it's very possible that nobody might come on. Nobody might want to debate. Who knows? So anyway, I'll pick a topic. I'll research it. I'll let you guys know. Hey, Catherine, I will get angry in your background at all this stupidity of MAGA. That is always an option as well. I'll pick a topic. I'll do a little research on it. And we'll we'll go from there and see how it goes. Let me just check my email real quick, guys, and see if crowdsource Carrie has gotten back to me. She may be tied up. Oh, here she comes. Hang on, let me just bring Carrie in. I'm going to switch my scene. Hey, Carrie, hang on 1 second. Can you let me just bring you on. Carrie, can you are you able to hear me? Oh, hang on. I didn't bring. Oh no, got you in. Hang on, Carrie. Let me switch scenes. And here is our guest scene. We can see you, Carrie. Can you hear me?
Hi.
How are you? How's everything going, Carrie?
Everything is good. Where are we streaming today?
We're live now, and you just missed some remarkable entertainment. By the way, we're streaming to TikTok, Instagram. I'm using the virtual camera feature in Ecamm, and don't ask me what it is because I don't understand what it is. I just know it allows me to stream into TikTok.
Okay.
So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Substack. And I can see
And that's on your end or my end too? I don't remember.
Well, it's just on my end. Like, so
Okay.
now, you know what I think we could try? And I was tempted to try it today, but then I kind of thought, I don't know if it would work. If we want to stream to multiple communities at the same time, I wonder if we can just click into each other's Ecamm links, and then I wonder if that would actually work. I have no idea until we in other words, you know how you're clicked in here and you're streaming to all my socials, right? But you're not necessarily streaming to your socials. But
yeah, because I think like if you watch TikTok lives when there's multiple creators on there, then it helps grow both audiences. I don't know.
Oh, it's better. It's that. But I think they're just, and we can try that too. I think they're just in TikTok. In other words, I think you can have multiple creators from two different communities stream into TikTok, and we can do that. We can definitely do that.
I'm willing to try whatever.
Yeah, I'm just really curious if we can live stream, if we can both live stream everywhere at the same time. I have no idea if that will work, but
I think the hardest thing is the darn TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok is that's the Achilles heel. That's the tough nut to crack. I hear you.
But I also think that maybe that's not the one we want to be growing on right now because they're controlling us.
Well, and there's censorship there, but maybe look, it's kind of like the TikTok X, the discussion that we had not too long ago about X. Like, is it worth it to be on X? And then there's a value, there's a financial incentive as well.
Right.
So I still, and even though TikTok, no offense to everybody out there on TikTok, I love you guys and I appreciate you being here. But still, there's a financial incentive. I mean, I'm still doing almost nothing, which is just posting and occasionally going live. I'm still pulling in about $100 a month from TikTok.
I know. I think that's something that we forget about when we watch videos. How much time and effort any person, no matter what video you're watching, puts into that video. And it's voluntarily. They don't get paid. They might, the big creators maybe make money off the views and stuff, but ultimately creators are taking a risk just voluntarily putting stuff on the internet with potentially never making a penny.
Well, that's the game, right? That's the game. But you know what? I just wanted to tell you though, before we start chopping it up about the political stuff. What you missed is when I first got on,
Yeah.
Catherine's one of my subs on Substack. She had reminded me that Trump was doing a press conference. So I was live streaming the press conference for a little bit. I like to like I'll
Oh,
often, I won't subject you to it because it's an
no, it's okay.
experience. But I'll often live stream. I can hear your I can hear your sound in the background here. Um, I'll often live stream him, and I'll live stream his press conferences, and sort
Yeah.
of do like a play-by-play commentary when he's live, and I bring my sound effects in, and it just makes it makes the whole experience much more palatable.
hmm
And if you're ever feeling inspired, you join me on that. It's
Yeah.
pretty entertaining.
I
But
bet. Well, you're funnier than me, so I would love to do that. That would be fun, actually.
we'll do it. I
I
mean,
forget that I forget that on Mondays they have all the press briefings.
yeah, and we can do. I'm not going to do it now. I don't want to ambush you. I mean, we could. We just finished it. And honestly, Carrie, I had to get off because I couldn't. Just to kind of segue into the war right now,
Yeah.
I couldn't. Catherine she's watching it. God bless her. Hegseth is spewing now, is what she's saying. He's in the background, so he's rambling. Like I couldn't hear it anymore. I couldn't. Like there's just a point where you can't listen to the incessant, ridiculous lying. I mean, he was talking about when we bailed on it. He was talking about something where during a previous administration, I would never, certainly when I was live streaming, I would never have the audacity to cut out of because it wasn't it was something that you think would be important to hear about. He was hearing about the pilot that was shot down, right? There were two pilots that were shot down in that F-15, and it took days 48 hours for the military to find one of them, right? And that pilot was
Yeah.
severely injured. And Trump was sort of babbling about the story, the narrative that he was telling about finding the pilot. But
hmm
what made it so, even something like that, which is good news, right? It's something
hmm
that's a good thing. He makes up so much bullshit, right? About like there's been, I followed the reporting really closely, and the real reporting is we know the pilot was injured severely, and we know they've got him, and that's all we know. And
Right.
there was all of this nonsensical gibberish that Trump, and you knew he was lying, Trump was pontificating about the pilot, and it was just so hard to listen to it because it was all it's a weird moment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We're in this moment where we're in a war and you can't necessarily believe your own government. And I've never had that. I didn't always trust what I was hearing during previous wars, but I knew some of it was true. But now it's sort of, I'll stop.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I made a video and it was a tweet of Donald Trump saying he's stronger than Jesus. And do you know that it wasn't true? It was an account that I basically fell into that trap of false information. And I put the video up and it just went crazy because it looked like a Donald Trump tweet that I got off of Twitter, but it wasn't actually Trump. And I think it was an example to me of how even me, a news junkie, I'm falling prey to false information online because we can't believe our president.
Yeah, and I guess look. Not that I give the MAGA community a pass for for what they buy, what they do and what they buy into, but it is not, like you're saying, you're knee deep in it. We're neck deep in it. We're always into it, and we can still get tricked and deceived. Like, remember I don't know if you were paying attention, to all the socials all the time, because we have to check out every so often. But I remember yesterday, I dialed in just for a little while, and there was all this social media buzz that Donald Trump was at Walter Reed Hospital. That he,
Right.
yeah, there was all this buzz that he was in, and again, it was normally in a previous administration, right, whether it be the Biden administration, the Obama administration, the previous Bush administration, like you would have known, you know what I mean? Like if somebody said the president is in the hospital, they would have told us, right? You know what I mean?
I know.
Like it would have been real news. But here, I quickly had to assume that the social media, like I didn't bring it up. I didn't do a post on it because I couldn't find any verifiable information. The White House was denying it, but that doesn't mean it's not true, and it
Right.
wasn't. Well, at least we think it wasn't, right? And it turned out that, I mean, he's doing a press conference today, so maybe not. But
Well, I think one of the things is we're waiting for him to be at Walter Reed
yes,
permanently.
well, yes, that was the, well, that was the buzz. The buzz was, I don't want to get, all over social media, everybody was like, I don't want to get too excited. Don't,
Yeah.
you know, but you know what, Carrie, can I ask you, I'm glad you brought that up because this came up yesterday and this is the post I thought
Mhm.
about doing. And I want to get your take on it.
Okay.
I have it like, we're all waiting to get rid of him, right? Whether that
Right.
be, by natural causes or, God forbid we have to wait 4 years, right? So
The sky falling.
we're all actively waiting for Donald Trump to leave office without, with the damage that's been done being the end of the damage. But I have a theory. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of my friends on social don't agree with me. And I want him out, but there's a part of me that wants him there, at least until after the midterms. And that's because, well, first of all, I worry more about J.D. Vance than I do Donald Trump. And
Okay,
the
because you think he's smarter or what?
yes, only because I think he's smarter. Only
But he
because,
doesn't have he doesn't have the power that Trump has. That's what my hope is.
but do you think he would? And I want to go with this, so I want you to, if you can convince
Yeah.
me of this, because I'll sleep better at night. Because really, I worry that the thing that I think keeps us, the reason I think we're going to get through this is because Trump is
Yeah.
such an idiot, right? I think that's the whole crux of my, that's been the whole crux of my social media presence since inauguration day is in the end we'll probably be okay because he is such a dunce, and that's
Yeah.
what will save us. If he was as horrible as he is, and let's say he had the intellectual capacity of a Vladimir Putin or
Right.
even a Kim Jong Un, if he had even not them, but if he even had baseline intellectual capacity, I feel like we would be in really, really deep trouble, and we are already. But
Right.
I worry that if Vance gets in, if he is as awful as Trump and he's smart, right? That's what worries me. But your argument is no, Vance could never command that level of control that Trump does. He wouldn't, even if he's president, he wouldn't have that power.
I think that he is smarter. But I think that half the reason why people do things for Donald Trump is they're afraid of him because he's a loose cannon with no control over regulating his emotions, right?
Right.
And he will use you and dump you. I mean, he's done it to all the women in his administration, right? Look at what okay, here in California, back to the governor's race, we had a guy running for a Republican who's a sheriff here. I told you about him last week.
Right.
And Donald Trump endorsed that guy. And I really truly believe that that guy took the ballots from Riverside County and made this whole election fraud thing because Donald Trump or somebody convinced him to do that. And then in the end, Donald Trump was like, no, I'm not endorsing you. I'm endorsing the other Republican. Like,
Yeah. You're right.
and
That's
so
right. That's right. I
I
read that.
just
Yes.
think that Donald Trump has this chokehold over people because of who he is and what he will do. He will do it. He will do something terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't think Vance would have that kind of control? You think he's got a
I
filter where he would
yeah, I
stop
think
himself?
yeah, I think that JD Vance is smart. Um he's evil, but I don't feel like he's evil on the level of Donald Trump. I don't know. So you think you're more scared of JD Vance?
Yeah. Yeah. I know that
because he's
seems
smart.
crazy, and I might be the only one. And I'm okay. Carrie, I've realized that when I make predictions, I'm wrong most of the time. So
Okay.
I predicted Kamala was going to win. I predict all kinds of things. So politically, it's a good thing that if the Polygon and sort of the betting outlets were going to stake their futures on my guesses politically, they would fail. So I'm willing to be wrong, which is why I can never be accepted into the MAGA community, because I'm willing to be wrong and admit it,
Right.
frequently. But yes, I fear that if JD Vance were drunk with power, the
Hmm.
I don't think JD Vance could have conceived or come up with where we are right now, right? With the absolutely appalling, idiocratic, ridiculous, and catastrophic situation. I don't think. I think he's sane enough that wouldn't have entered his consciousness, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I feel that now that we're in it, right? Um, he might continue it. And if he continued it, because Donald Trump has shown everybody that that he can do it, that you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to be a dictator. You're
Right.
allowed to be a fascist, and the Republican Party will do nothing about it. And in all
Right.
honesty, the Democrats are kind of limited. Even if we were in control of the House and the Senate, right? When we were during his first administration and Democrats tried to actually impeach and remove him, you couldn't get enough Republican senators to go along with an impeachment-proof majority to get rid of him. So I think
Yeah.
Vance knows that he could be a dictator, and he's smart enough, I fear, to achieve it. So I do. I worry a little bit. I worry. I mean, look. He's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think Donald Trump is gonna die anyway.
Do you know
Anytime.
who I think is? I think the person that is even more worrisome is Stephen Miller.
Yeah,
He is beyond evil. He is like Trump level evil, I think.
and
And I
not
think,
dumb. He's not.
and not dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, I think JD Vance, I don't think he has the connections to world leaders that Donald Trump has. I do wonder about that, though. I wonder, like, what happens when we get the call? Is everything just going to crash? Or is it going to continue to go along its way to this Project 2025, checking things off the list?
What do you mean? When Trump is out, or if he
Yeah, when
drops
Trump
dead
is like,
tomorrow, or or
yeah,
whatever?
when he's at Walter Reed permanently forever and leaves there in a box.
I don't know, Carrie. I don't know. I mean, first of all, they're going to lie about it. Like the one thing is everything is predictable, right? To a point. So if Donald Trump were to keel over, and we would lose him today, I don't think we'd know about it for 2 weeks, right? I think he would
Yeah.
while the administration and JD Vance kind of huddled in the White House, and Stephen Miller and Susie
Steve Bannon.
Wiles and as they'd invite probably while they were all competing and jockeying for power and control, I think that whole thing would play out in silence. They would lie about Trump. He's in some way. So I don't think we would know. And in the end, though, my my nightmare scenario is, yes, they would continue to implement Project 2025. Vance is certainly on board with that. They would double and triple down on it. And like I said, because, and again, maybe it's not just Vance, the dictatorial creep, that I worry about. It's the confederacy of all of them, right?
All of
And
them.
because again, they're all Trump is a useful idiot for everybody around him, right? He doesn't
Right.
know that. Everybody geopolitically, obviously for Putin, for President Xi of China, now the Iranians are manipulating, so geopolitically, they flatter him, they tell him how wonderful he is, how smart he is, how beautiful he is, how lovely his tan is. They give him a $400 million
His
plane,
tan.
and they treat, and then here, Stephen Miller, what do? You watch I mean, we don't see Miller, but you watch I cover the cabinet meetings sometimes, and
Yeah.
they're something to see. everybody is Mr. President. You are so brilliant, and through your leadership, you are such a genius. You are such, you're the
It's
second
so
coming.
gross. It literally is so gross when you watch the cabinet meetings and they're all sitting at the table. And then it's like they go, okay, Christy, what are your accolades for Trump today? Okay, Stephen, your turn. Okay, Pam, your turn. Like down the line, just asking people to praise him. It's like literally so sickening that grown adults are like crushing on a president. It's just weird. But it shows you how insecure they are that they can be like controlled, led, shaped, whatever. Like it's wild. And what is even more wild is if you don't do something that he wants, he will cut you like immediately. He has no loyalty.
Yeah,
No loyalty.
and Beth just mentioned in here because there's a few people that are like I guess watching the news conference of just to report on it. She said they're doing that right now in the news conference. They're so Hegseth and whatever. Beth, who is it? Hegseth or is it the other? Who else from the Confederacy of Ass Kissers is doing it? But they're, so they're just praising him, and I don't, I can't wrap my brain around that. I didn't understand it during the first administration, and I don't get it now. I never understood why you would subject yourself to that one way loyalty, right? I mean, unless you were like, I feel like there's two types of people in the Trump administration. I feel like there's the crazy people, and that is like that examples are Pete Hegseth, formerly Pam Bondi. They're
Steve
like,
Miller.
yeah. Well, I don't think Stephen Miller. I see him as the manipulators, right? The people who could never get there.
Mhm.
So I feel like the loons are the ones that are. Look, I often say that Donald Trump has two superpowers. It's crazy and stupid, right? I don't think I've never seen a person in real life or even like in a
Yeah.
show, like even a TV show or a movie that is really that crazy and look, my wife is she's she's worked in a psych ward. I've seen like people who are seriously severely mentally ill, and I haven't still outside of a psych ward, I've never seen that. And also,
Yeah.
I've literally never seen anyone that dumb. Like, I don't know how it
No.
can be. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, so
Like confidently dumb.
confident. Yes, that's
Like
it.
when he gets
Yes,
up there and he starts talking with his whole chest about
yes.
whatever it is of the day.
Yeah, and he's certain of it, right? And so, but I think you have these two classes of people where you have the crazy people who can achieve his level of crazy. That's Hegseth. That's Pam Bondi, right?
Yeah.
Hegseth. When could in what world could Pete Hegseth be the director, the Secretary of Defense, right? You know what I like? So, but
I
then
feel like the qualifications are people that either worked for Trump in the past or were on TV. Like,
100%.
because this guy that he's endorsing in California, again, I keep bringing it to California, he is a Fox News host.
This is not the sheriff, though, right? This is the
This
one he
is
actually endorsed. Yeah.
Yes, his name is Steve Hilton. He's the guy from London. He has an accent. But he had his own show on Fox TV,
That
Fox
is
News.
funny.
It's
That
like
he's not. Thank
these
goodness.
are the people that are running the world right
Yes,
now.
yes, Karen. That is these are the people running the world.
Like we qualify. If we get a big enough following on social media, maybe we could qualify.
If there's any upside for me to the Trump when this is all said and done, like at least I feel like I still have a shot, right? If they can elect him, then you know what? I could do it, right? So that's that. If there's any upside, at least anybody, when I was a kid, growing up as a privileged, white kid in suburban Philadelphia, my parents always told me like you could be president someday, and now I believe
Now you
that's
should.
true because anybody we can elect anyone. And I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what's where we're gonna wind up when all is said and done with
Over
this.
over the weekend, did you see the clip that was going viral with Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan?
No, I didn't see it.
So must have had a podcast either this weekend or last
Yeah,
week, and there's a clip going viral right now where Theo Vaughn is like, "Do you think we're going to be okay?" And because of course now they're both like,
yeah.
"Oh, what's happening? This is bad." And Theo Vaughn is like, "Do you think we're going to be okay?" And Joe Rogan's like, "I mean, yeah, I mean, I think so. I hope so." Like, you guys are part of the reason why we're at where we're at.
And
Like
also,
your whole big giant
yes,
platforms of the BS that you spew.
and also, you know, like do something, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Do
yeah,
something.
like you
Yes.
and I do not have access to the White House. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
unless they decide to come after pro democracy content creators, and then we'll be in detention.
Put us
In
in prison.
yeah, exactly. In whoever the new attorney general is going to be, Lee Zeldin's prison. But they have the like. I don't. There's no reason that Joe Rogan doesn't have Donald Trump's ear if he wants it, right? So for Joe Rogan to sort of coward out of now and look, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, at least when she kind of woke up, if she's whatever it is that drives Marjorie Taylor Greene, right?
Yeah.
At least she went there. You know what I mean? Like and again, I can't say I have respect for Marjorie Taylor Greene because of
Do you
how
know
awful
what?
she was, but at least Joe Rogan can't even he can complain about it, but he doesn't have the courage to go in and do something about it, and he could.
What makes me upset about people like Marjorie Taylor Greene is, yeah, you quit because you don't want to be part of this, but you should have stayed in to vote against
Yeah.
things. Then you would have the people's respect, right? And as far as uh Joe Rogan and all these big like personalities online and celebrities, like, where are they all? Like, you guys are just okay with like a G side going on. You guys are okay with people, American citizens and veterans being attacked in the street, ripped out of their cars, shipped to countries they've never been to, don't belong in. Like, where is everybody? Like, why aren't the people with the platforms speaking out? I don't understand. Like, this is a right versus wrong time.
Well, I mean, I think they're dipping their toe into it, right? Those who aren't like those who haven't like those who have woken up a little bit, like Joe Rogan, like we're seeing. I think he's cautiously dipping his toe into it, right? He's
Yeah,
complaining about it, but he won't do anything. Megyn Kelly, for
right.
example, she's still all on board with MAGA.
She
They
is so funny because she's so all on board, but then I saw there was a clip where she's like, I have a son who's 16 years old. She's all freaked out about a possible draft. And it's
right.
like, this is what you signed up for and what you're boasting, you lunatic. Like,
Exactly. You're right. And
make up
but
your mind.
but I think the question that you're asking is such a good one. Like, why don't they, even though Joe Rogan is sticking his toe into it, and you have other, even some of the extremists, like and again, I'm not a fan by any stretch of the imagination, but like the neo-Nazi racist like Nick Fuentes and his incel
Alex
crews,
Jones.
So all of them have to an extent walked away from Trump. But why don't they come out full-throated? Why don't they join the resistance? Why don't they, speak about, I don't know. I wish I understood
Maybe
that.
maybe it's like we have to like think about what specifically is that's making them not be on board. So like some of them it could be money, some of it is Iran, some of them is ICE. I mean, maybe they're not, I don't know, but maybe it's that one issue that is making them go, I'm not on board with this, but they're on board with the rest of it,
Yes, yeah, that's
right?
yeah, and but still, how do you be like that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you? like look at you know, I don't want to get into the details because I don't want to out anybody, for privacy reasons. But we were involved in a conversation where we learned about, Scott Jennings on CNN, right? And there was an implication in that that discussion that we are in, that Jennings is really probably just in it to feed his family, right? He's in it
Yeah.
for,
Yeah,
like,
that's the
maybe his
thing is
heart's
like,
not in it, but how do you even, you get another job, you know what I mean? Like
I
how
know.
do you I like, because what are you going to have when it all burns down anyway? What is Scott Jennings? If Scott Jennings, if that's true, and he's just in it, and guys, if you don't know who Scott Jennings is, he's on CNN. He's always sort of debating on the Trump side of things, but he fights and he argues, but you could tell his heart and soul is probably not there.
It's like an attorney going to court and arguing a position. It's just a job. It doesn't mean they believe it, right? So Scott Jennings, right? Scott?
Yeah, Scott Jennings. Yeah.
Getting him mixed up with Peter, but like he goes on CNN, he has these tough debates with younger, well, anybody. He'll debate anybody, but the one I love the most is Adam Mockler, and
Yes.
Politics Girl, she's good. But yeah, there's like rumors that he's like the nicest guy when they turn the camera off and they stop debating. Like, I think it is just a job to certain people.
Yeah. And look, I guess I shouldn't judge them for,
I don't
but I
know though,
but I
because
am
this is
judging
a
them.
moral, ethical time. This
Yeah.
is where we're knowing where people stand morally and ethically,
Exactly.
you
And the
know?
stakes are so high that
Yep.
um I'm so s-
Yesterday,
oh,
AOC was having a TikTok live, so I listened to it.
mhm.
And she was just talking and she was knitting at the same time. And people in the chat were like, how do you find balance with all of this crazy going on? And she's like, this is balance. Like she's like, I'm talking about politics and I'm knitting because I think people like AOC who are passionate, doing what's right for
Mhm.
humanity, you can't turn that off.
No.
I mean, look at us with our little tiny social media. Like we get overly emotional and stressed out and like this weekend I had a really hard time because I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's so overwhelming sometimes. So imagine like the AOCs versus the Scott Jennings who can just turn it off like a switch. I think I'd rather be on the other side. You know what
I'd
I mean?
rather.
Like I'd rather be the one that's like, I'm not sleeping tonight because there's horrible things going on
Yeah.
than just being paid to have an opinion or host a side.
Yeah. I look at it like, I look at my parents who are in their late 80s and early 90s, and I think about
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't want to. You and I could be very, very um, successful and wealthy content creators if we were on the right.
yeah,
Our followings would be humongous. The funding is, as we're learning, the funding is remarkable.
yeah.
Um, but how do you live with yourself? You know,
I
Carrie,
couldn't.
yeah, I'm so sorry. I actually have a meeting with Ashna at
Oh,
2.
oh,
So
okay,
yeah, so
okay.
I'm gonna have to go for right now. But guys, Carrie and I do this every Monday on her socials and then on my socials, and we still haven't really figured out how we're gonna do it on both socials.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, and you guys, we'll keep this up.
So we'll see you on the West Coast. I'll see you next week at 10 o'clock on Monday. And
10
you're
o'clock,
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock over here. Take care,
I just
guys.
had breakfast. Talk to you later.
Talk to you
Bye.
later. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, everybody. Take care. It just takes me a minute to. I have to actually push all the buttons to end the live, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to wrap the live on, if I can get to the software. And if you could just bear with me for 1 minute, guys, and I will end this live. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, everybody. Much love.